Welcome back to another episode of the Haas Talks Road Show. Well, we're just going to call this one Haas Talks because we're in the backyard here at Port City Raceway. And joining me on the show today, Mr. Ryan Bowling from Dirt2Media. Ryan, thanks for taking time here and in the setup of Speed Week to sit down and chit-chat with me.
Absolutely. Thanks, Haas. I really appreciate it.
So let's just jump right in. Dirt2Media is a broadcasting platform that host a wide array of racing. For those that may not know, that may be watching on the YouTube channel or in the social media world out there, what is Dirt2Media and how long have you been in, quote unquote, in business?
Well, Dirt2Media itself has been in business since 2018. We started out just broadcasting local. I'm more from a late model background, so we were broadcasting our local late model and street stock shows, things of that nature. And, we just kind of had the vision of just, like a lot of media outlets, just promoting grassroots racing. And, it's just kind of rolled from there. So
you start off doing late model stuff and whatnot. What kind of brought you into this whole micro world?
Well, actually, it's funny. I didn't really understand or know what a micro was till 2020. So very, very new to this. I kind of knew what they were, but I just didn't understand or didn't know the community and what the reach was there. And we got the opportunity at US 24, which is, about 2.5 hours up the road from me. At the time, we were kind of just looking for different shows to broadcast and try to find our niche. And, kind of got the in there to do the Wingless A-Class Clash on its first year. And we go up there, and I didn't know anything about anything in the micro world. I didn't know.
You were just there to do a broadcast.
I didn't know Frank Flood or anybody. I couldn't have told you anything about it. And there was some KKM cars there, so obviously I knew that side of it was pretty important. And then we broadcasted those 3 nights, and at the end of the weekend I was looking at our numbers, and I'm like, wow, there's this is there's definitely a community here that I didn't know about. And, that all kind of got it started right there at US 24. And, we went back and did the big dance. And, after that, I started talking to Jim and Deb, and I said, hey, I'd like to get in here weekly and then start doing this still. So it's kind of where it started. We just snowballed from there.
And then all of a sudden, here you are. Now you're the title sponsor of the Dirt2Media National Open Wheel 600 Series. You're going up and down the road, broadcasting all these national open wheels shows, and you got speed weeks going and everything else. If we pause in the story right here and we back up to before Dirt2Media, you said you come from the late model world. How did Ryan become a broadcaster, getting into the broadcasting realm of things? Because I know you before Dirt2Media, and in some of the scenes that you were kind of in and the things that you were involved in building into what they are now. So kind of give us a breakdown of how Ryan got into broadcasting and doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's, I'll just take it all the way back to 2012, honestly, was when I first picked up a video camera, and I didn't know anything about anything. I knew how to turn it on and pop an SD card in and record. I didn't know anything about audio, didn't know, anything about editing. Just started doing our local stuff there at home, just doing interviews and just YouTube videos. And just kind of learning from there. Now,
are those YouTube videos still out there?
They probably are somewhere. Yeah, I'd have to dig up and see. I would be interested to go back and watch some of it now.
Absolutely.
We've kind of learned a little more about how stuff works. But we started there, and really I started shooting more up top content. From actually shooting the races and cutting highlights, and just kind of caught the attention of a couple other media outlets, at the time, and they, wanted me to come on board and help contribute, and I worked quite a bit with Sean Buckley at Jack Slash. He taught me, he really kind of helped fast forward some of the learning process for me. Worked a lot of sprint car shows in Indiana with him. And then started working for Dirt on Dirt and Michael Rigsby back in, I don't know, it's probably 14, 15, somewhere in there. And, stayed on the road with them quite a bit and worked the Eldoras and, the Knoxville late models, and just hit a lot of those marquee late model shows. And, at that time, that's when they were really getting aggressive on live streaming and back pre-flow racing. And, I really took an interest to it at that point. But before that, I always had the dream of being a race car driver. That's all I wanted to do, and it just didn't work out, financially. Still wanted to be involved with the sport, and that was kind of the outlet. And then learned a lot about broadcasting and things with DOD. And, it just got to the point where it was, around 2017 or 18 there, and, when they sold the Flow. And at that point, I was kind of wanting to do my own thing anyways. I just, kind of got to the point where I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to do personally. And when they sold, that just kind of was a good point to say, hey, I'm gonna go do my own thing. And I kind of took what we learned from there and, applied it to our local scene there at home. And, just kind of built from there. And, it's been a journey for sure.
Real quick, Sean Buckley told me way back when, he kind of gave me this advice of know how to do it all. Know how to do every aspect of it, from the graphic design to the editing, to the shooting, to the interviewing. Be able to do it all. And I kind of feel like you're a jack of all trades and you dabble in a little bit of everything. So we fast forward now to where Dirt2Media is now, and I feel like it's the fastest growing platform whenever it comes to true grassroots. Nothing against Flow Racing and what they're doing, but they've built this huge conglomerate of focusing in on your top tier racing. Your Eldoras, your Port Royals, your big shows, the All-Stars and whatnot. But you have kind of focused in on micro sprints. And yes, you guys still do a lot of broadcasts with other series and whatnot, but I feel like you're taking to micro sprints. Is there a reasoning behind that? Is there something that you're seeing that maybe other people aren't seeing?
I mean, honestly, it comes down to the community. It's just an amazing atmosphere, and I've not experienced an atmosphere like this anywhere else. And then that's a big part of it because, like you said, when we're tearing down the road and we're doing a lot of things that I don't like to do. I don't like setting up for broadcast. I don't like some of this grind. I mean, it's all part of the process, which I love, but there's a lot about this that's not fun. And but when you've got a community like this micro sprint community that you can have fun with, and we can sit here and have these conversations, and that's why I'm here. And secondly, there is, from a business standpoint, we have seen a lot of support, come our way, trying to get more of these high-profile micro shows, and even our weekly stuff is doing really well. So it's been fun just building our brand within micro sprint racing. It's just, I don't know, just one of those deals that just feels right, and that's why I'm investing so heavily in it right now. And I really set our business model up to, to be aggressive and giving back. And, there's times where I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, there's some money coming in here, and it sucks to see it all go out. But, when you think of, the big picture of what we're trying to do here, it's everything seems to be, kind of hitting the marks that I'm wanting to as far as what our goals are. And, it's definitely exciting. Like I said, it's just, to me, micro sprint racing it's like no other. You have the adults out there doing it for a living, and you've got 12 and 13-year-old kids out there, racing wheel to wheel with them and competing, and then you've got families that are racing together, and you got NASCAR guys that come race with it with their kids and themselves, and just to see. Like I used the example a few weeks ago at Mountain Creek, Hayden Wise and Sheldon Creed, racing side by side. You got a 12-year-old girl and a NASCAR star, and she laid it on him. And you're not going to get that anywhere else. And that's what I really, really enjoy about it. And there's just, I don't know, it feels like home right now.
You talk about giving back to the racing community, giving back to micro sprint racing. It brings up an interesting topic that you see all the time on social media and everything else that kind of goes astir. That uninformed people don't realize what it really takes to put on a broadcast. So first of all, let's talk about that of what actual moving pieces it takes to get a race from the racetrack to the internet, and the infrastructure that it really takes, and then the time and money that you also give back to these tracks, because you just don't roll in here, set up a camera, film, and then you take the money to the bank. You're giving back to the racetracks, you're giving back to the series, you sponsor drivers, and you this week alone you helped a driver that wasn't going to be able to come out and do the whole week. They were going to have to settle for doing a day. You're like, you know what, hey, here, I'll cover your hotel room. Just help me with some social media stuff.
Yep.
So let's talk about first just what it takes to get a broadcast going, because it's not just, yes, you're the face of Dirt2Media, but there's a whole group of guys and a team behind you that puts this on, that makes it happen as well. So for the uninformed, the uneducated, what does a typical race day look like for you, regardless of if it's traveling or if it's at your home track?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the traveling is kind of whatever. When you roll into the track, it doesn't matter if it's 12 hours from home or 12 minutes from home. It's the same, the same general, setup. And obviously, this week the internet's been challenging, and that's kind of first and foremost. You got to have, connection to be able to push a broadcast out. So. Rolled into Caney, and the cell service drops, and it's 95 degrees, and our internet devices are acting funky just because it's hot, and so that's your first concern. Obviously, is getting internet, and some of these shows that we do, it's a long day, and when we're streaming for hours and hours and hours, that costs a lot of money. Every minute that ticks off is money, and it's challenging. I mean, there's just, I don't even know exactly where to start with it. I mean, internet's a big thing. Obviously, our audio's got to be right. You mentioned our the team we've got behind us. Finding people to go work these shows is challenging. I get calls every week about people wanting us to go do their shows and things, and I'm like, well, I'm only one person. I can, we can try to move some people around, but there's honestly so much behind the scenes going on with what we're doing that it's hard to really, just put it into words, I guess.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah,
from people taking care of social media.
Yeah.
To people making sure that the stream is going to the right place, they're going to the dedicated spot, to making sure that you have enough staff, to making sure that, like you said, every minute that clicks off that you have internet rolling, that's another added cost to the whole deal.
Yeah, no, I need to sit down and figure out exactly, and I should know this as a business, I really should, but what our cost is to go do a show, like per hour, however you want to rate it, but it varies. There's some shows that we'll put way more resources into others, and that just kind of comes down to what we anticipate our viewership to be for those shows, and so there's a lot of that goes on. There's certain shows that folks will watch, and it'll just be kind of a one cam single show, and it's not that we don't value that show any more, any less than any show, but we got to do what's financially, just what's feasible for the level of that event. And that does kind of get frustrating sometimes, because we're capable of doing so much with a broadcast. For the people who watched like Talon's show back in March here, the Outlaw Nationals, like we had drones, and we went all out with that, and we can do all these things, and it does kind of suck when you got to roll in and do a just kind of a simple shoot, because then people at home are like, man, these guys, that may be the first show that they've ever seen, and they're like, oh wow, one camera, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, and we get that a lot, and that's just something that as a business I've just kind of I got to keep focusing and moving forward, and then just knowing that we're making these decisions based off of what makes sense, and But yeah, no, it's our biggest challenge right now, honestly, is staffing. And getting. It's not just getting people; it's getting people who understand the assignment and understand what we're trying to do and want to get on board with our vision. We're a small business, but I try to take care of my guys the same, or if not better than if they were working for a larger streaming provider. So I just that's the thing when it goes back to the investment of everything is I just want to make sure at the end of the day we're involved in the community the right way, and I'm not really worried about putting the money in my pocket. It's just not there's a long game here for me, and just putting a couple $100 in my pocket every weekend's not it right now. So we've just got a lot of big plans moving forward that some of them are starting to come to fruition quicker than others, and it's just been really cool to see just see this momentum that we're building, and just see it kind of go to work, and those goals, like I said, are starting to come to light a little quicker than I thought, which is good. But with that comes new challenges of just finding people and getting myself in the right mindset and capacity to take on these challenges. That's a big thing. So
mindset is a big part of it, and what people may not understand is, as you're doing all of this and you're up and down the road all the time and you're making all these broadcasts happen, is that this isn't the full-time gig for you. Right. That, like, you still carry a full-time job, you're invested in other companies that you have to pay attention to and everything else. So, like, what's the balance like for you? Because, like, we were just talking before we started recording, like, you're going to get done, we'll get done here tonight at Port City. You'll load up and, drive a few hours and stay and sleep somewhere, or you'll stay the night and then get up and drive home tomorrow, get home tomorrow about 7, 8 o'clock, and then you're up at 6 a.m. the next morning to go to the full-time job, and that's missing a newborn son too, missing the kid.
Yep. No, it's definitely a lot. It's a huge sacrifice, and anybody in this industry is making sacrifice. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm the only person sacrificing, but yeah, like, I'm basically 10 and a half hours from home right now, and that's kind of a common thing. Like, my closest micro show's 2.5 hours away at US 24, but yeah, the balance is it's definitely something here over the past few months that I've really I don't want to say struggled with, but it's been challenging, because there's so much more that I'm wanting to get out of this, and it's we're going and broadcasting these shows, and that's great, but there's so much more that I want to get out of Dirt2Media than just going and broadcasting a race. I want to really get aggressive about getting in here and telling the stories, and just doing all the extras that we're not doing now, and that just takes time, and I've got a couple people that are on with me at kind of a full-time basis, and that's been challenging, just managing people for me. That's kind of a new thing. I've not had to manage people, and there's just a lot of processes that we're trying to get ironed out that that people don't know. They just pull up the site and stream, and if we're having troubles, they send messages, and there's just so much going on in the back end of it that and I get aggravated with myself because I know that I'm not handling the balance as good as I should, or as well as I want to. And you got to be your own biggest critic on this stuff, because if you're not, it's just not going to you're going to get the results that you want. So
that's Dirt2Media in a nutshell, in like a quick rundown of what you've got going on, where you've been, and what you're doing. We can't not talk about this next subject without we can't have a podcast without talking about this next subject. And you are basically going freaking to the bat, and you're doing something that nobody else has ever done before, and you're promoting an event, The Deuce is Wild, at US 24, 2 classes, paying huge money in one weekend. Like, what's the mindset of this? And just for viewers, real quick, give them a rundown of what it really is, of what it is, of what the Deuces Wild is.
Yeah, so Deuces Wild Shootout, US 24 Speedway, Logansport, Indiana, September 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. We're going to pay $12,222.22 to wing day class and $12,222 to stock non-wing, and both will pay $1,000 to start. So yeah, it's kind of a wild deal, but my head is really in event promotion right now. That's where, Dirt2Media is kind of just going to serve as a tool for big picture what I'm trying to do. We've been trying to build it up, obviously, to get to the next step. And, I just really have wanted to get into promoting events, like I said, and that's just kind of where it landed. I had other ideas and things that, were smaller and just, more kind of getting my feet wet type of thing. But I was just in the process of planning for it. I was just kind of bored with it. And I knew that, I wanted to kind of start off with a splash, and I wanted to be unique.
That's a cannonball. Yeah. That's a cannonball. $12,222.22 for two classes.
Well, I think that the big thing is that I don't see as much anymore in all forms of motorsports. It's just being unique. To me, just putting on a money race that pays kind of your standard person. I mean, that's just great. It's not that it's bad, but it's just not what I want to do. I want to be very unique with everything we do. And as we start announcing some of our new ideas and different things coming out, it's all going to be unique. And I just kind of want to be known for that, I guess. I don't want to just be a cookie cutter type, business. There's just so much more that can be done, and there's a ton of great promoters out there, a ton of great events that they've been the foundation and a staple and the micro racing community, and it all goes back to being unique, and it's going to be an event, and it's not going to just be another race, and I hope that we get the support that we need. It's a big gamble on my side, obviously, but the entries have been coming in, and I really hope we can get the wing cars. I'm a little bit concerned with that at some points. But the reason is I just want it to be a big event, both sides. I don't want it to be one-sided. It's not even really the financial side of it. I know we'll get cars, but I just want it to be an event that people don't forget, and an event that hopefully is sustainable enough to stay around for years to come. And we looked at different different tracks and different options to go to, but US 24 was kind of home for me, and Jim and Deb really put me together a good deal to work with them, and they're excited about it. And but yeah, no, it's a lot of new things for me. It's a lot of just right down to the little details is what's been the toughest so far, and just getting parking lined out, and the event format, and just it's just everything.
Yeah.
So but no, it's exciting. Definitely going to be kind of the the kickoff to a lot of good things that we've got planned, and hopefully we can start announcing soon. So
real quick, I want you to describe Dirt2Media with either one sentence or one word.
Ooh.
I have my word in mind that I would utilize to describe Dirt2Media and where I feel like you guys are going, because we've chatted a lot. I mean, about the broadcast stuff and everything else. Because we run on flow here, but there's still some. I feel like there's some technological questions and some technical questions that you've helped me with a lot, moving up and down the line, and then just chit-chatting about different things that we've worked with, doing Speed Week stuff and doing some content for Dirt2Media here and there that we'll be posting up. But like, if you had one word or like one sentence to somebody that's watching at home right now, that this may be the first time they're even really hearing about Dirt2Media, how would you describe Dirt2Media?
I mean, I like to kind of look at it from the mentality of don't quit, and that's just kind of my, when I look at Dirt2Media, there's no quit. I get aggravated with all of it, on a weekly basis, and wonder why we do it. And you sit back and you look at it from 40,000 feet above and look down on it, and it's like, I can't quit. Like, we've got to go. Like, this was the mission, this is the vision, and I just not going to go away. Like, no matter what happens here, we're not going away. We're not going to sell out. We're not going to do any of this, and that's just kind of my mindset with it. I'm going to, I want to make an impact on the industry, and it's not even so much me personally. It's just I want to build a team here that we can all be proud of the end product, and that's kind of how I try to. That's what keeps me going. These drives get long, and it's easy to get in your head and get aggravated and wonder why you do it, but and you just can't quit. You got to keep at it. So
don't quit. My word was innovative, because you're being super innovative in the different things that you're doing, and kind of your game plan of your bigger picture that I've kind of been able to look at a couple of small pieces. It's all innovative. But Ryan Bolin right here on Hoss Talk saying, don't quit. And hey, go subscribe to Dirt2Media.